Okay, hello everyone. A warm welcome to the second START online program run by the ECP Blue Factory Incubator. Welcome from the Berlin and from the Paris campus. And yeah, thank you for being with us. And now I will pass on to Manuela, who will share with you the details of tonight's workshop.
Hello everyone, really glad to have you back on the second workshop of the Blue Factory Start Online. So for today's program, you receive an email about it. So we will receive two entrepreneurs who will testify about their own journey, their own entrepreneurial journey. So Sandra Rey and Olabissi Adjovi. So yeah, really happy to have them with us today. And then we will have a 1 hour co-development session. So we will explain exactly what is the co-development session. So basically it will be 1 hour to really focus on your project and what is your current challenge. And then we will have a quick information and upcoming event that we will share with you for the end of this workshop. But to begin, as many of you know, last time we asked you to do some missions. So basically that was to interviewing potential clients or current and actual clients. So we would just start by a random hello for you to talk about this mission that you may have done, and just to introduce everyone and to say hello to all the participants.
Okay, so we are going to move directly to the presentation of the speaker and to the conference. Super. Okay, so let's go. I hope you all had a nice month. It's been almost a month that we discussed, and that you had the opportunity to work on your project and maybe do the exercise we asked you to interview some users and have really this ground experimentation between your intuition and the reality of what users really expect. We are really happy to have Olabissi and Sandra today with us, because as you will understand, this second session, the objective is to have the sharing of entrepreneurs who can really tell you about their past and let you realize that indeed creating a project is a daily path of unexpected events that you connect to your own intuition and what you believe could be developed. And they have together a very deep experience, because Ola started in 2012 and Sandra in 2014, so it's been some years already, even though they are still young entrepreneurs. So before going into questions that I prepared and then opening the Q&A, I will let you just briefly present yourself. Maybe Sandra, you can start, and the way of presenting you, one question would be like, how did this entrepreneurial journey start for you? Did it start a long time ago when you were younger, or was it suddenly like an inspiration of the moment? And why did you choose to create then this company on this topic rather than you could have created so many other ones?
Okay. So hello everyone, I'm happy to be here sharing with you everything I've learned on the past years. So my name is Sandra, I'm the founder of Glowee. Glowee is the environmental biotech startup. We are developing biological lighting with marine bacteria. We'll get back to that if you're interested later. But so that you understand a bit more about my path here and how from my design studies, I managed to create a biotech company 7 years ago. So I did some industrial design studies, and during my studies, I was doing some freelance work on design jobs. And I was already feeling that, well, it was cool, but I was quite not as good as I would like to be in terms of business. So I had the opportunity to do the option E at ESCP in Madrid in 2014, and just before that I had this I won a student contest on my design studies about biology with the Glowee project, which was just a student project to get a good grade at the end of the year, and I won the contest. And in the months after that, the contest was basically put on medias, and a lot of people were talking about us even if we were just nice PowerPoint slides and a lot of ambition, but with not experience in either bioluminescence, which is the phenomenon that we use, or in entrepreneurship. And so then I did the SCP, and I realized that I should give myself at least 6 months to start to create my project and enter a lab to actually test bioluminescence. And what happened is that I just took all the opportunities that were given to me. I've been offered a lab bench to test. I hired an intern, a biotech intern, to do the first step of the prototyping. And I saw that the potential was huge. I was talking with a lot of potential prospects and clients that was interested in I will say the idea, because the product was not even existed. And so the product started like that. The company project started like that 7 years ago. And since then, of course, I've structured the product as a company and being able to have very interesting results, but also to have used my optimism and naivety as a designer and not a biotech expert to basically go through a lot of challenges that are still here today, and be able to go from the dream to reality in terms of using this biological light in the cities of tomorrow.
Super. Thank you very much, Sandra, for this introduction. Ola, would you let us know about your own start?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Ola. I was in an engineering school in France called INSA, and I had this friend. He always wanted to be an entrepreneur. He knew that it was what he wanted to do, because when he was a little boy, he was helping his mom sell stuff at the market. He's actually from Burkina Faso. And so after our diploma, he went to HEC, and he always told me, yeah, you should do entrepreneurship, you should try. It's very interesting, blah, blah, blah. So I just, that's how I got in ESCP. And I did the Master Spécialisé Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and that basically changed my whole perspective on things. And so after this Masters, I started a company with some friends that are from Senegal. And the initial idea was basically to send parcels easily to Senegal. And then it went from that to enabling people in Senegal to get their orders from big e-commerce international websites, Amazon, for instance, or Vente Privée, or Nike.com, whatever, and get their orders and their products delivered at their door in Senegal, because these big websites usually don't have shipping to Africa. So we did it for a few years. That enabled us to raise funds. We raised 300,000 euros in 2017, and we raised a bit more after that. But then we started having problems in 2019. The growth started to slow down, and so we basically did a pivot. And now we're basically continuing the shipping business, but more B2B focused.
Maybe this is the long story short. Can we just focus? Can you tell us a bit more at the beginning? How did you change between the intuition you had and how did you, the first time at the very beginning, how did you pivot, and how did you understand that what the customer really wanted in comparison to what you wanted to offer? What happened?
Okay, what happened was I started from my personal problem, because I was in Paris. I had family in Africa, and I wanted to send parcels. That was complicated for me, so I tried to.
You wanted to send what? I didn't understand.
To send a package.
Okay.
I wanted to send it was basically family stuff I needed to send, and it was really complicated for me. So I told myself, there's probably many people that have the same problem, so I'm gonna start a company that solves this problem. Then when we started, I saw that there was many competitors, and the way to differentiate was to hop on this new opportunity that we found just by accident, basically. Like 4 or 5 months in, we just saw that there were many people in Senegal that were interested in buying stuff all over the world on websites like Amazon or whatever, and they couldn't buy products on Amazon.
Why?
So that's how we shifted.
Why they couldn't?
Because when you're in Senegal, if you have basically a banking card that enables you, a credit card that enables you to buy on Amazon, then Amazon doesn't ship the product to you in Senegal. They do it maybe for like books, but if you need to buy a computer, if you need to buy a pair of, I don't know, a printer, pair of shoes, or furniture, they won't ship it to Senegal. So we basically focused on that opportunity.
And how did you solve it?
We decided we had this base in Paris where we basically asked the customers to deliver the products to us in Paris. And then we consolidated the packages to do a big shipment. We did approximately 1 shipment a week. And then we ship all the products to Senegal. We do the customs because the customs is another problem. And then we deliver the products at their door. Basically, we had a last mile delivery, and that's what we did.
Okay, so you had people in Senegal that were receiving your shipment and then distributing it.
Exactly, and I was also moving a lot between Dakar and Paris, but I had a team in Dakar, Senegal.
Thank you. What about you, Sandra? So what did you do? Because the idea you had was, I guess, super hard to prototype. And how did you prototype, and was there a very big difference between your vision and what you could actually do?
Yes, very, very big difference between my vision and what I could do. So when we started, I immediately had this vision of bringing bioluminescence into the cities of tomorrow, which is quite challenging because it requires a lot of technical performance, a lot of also to be low cost, to be competitive to the solution that exists in terms of lighting in the cities. So I had this idea in mind, and I was meeting a lot of potential clients, municipalities or energy companies that were really demanding this kind of product. And so when I entered the lab, I had in mind that, well, the first market that we were actually targeting was the stores. We wanted to do shop fronts with bioluminescence. So that was the first idea. And when I started, I entered the lab, and in my mind, I thought that in 3 months I will have an industrial product and I could solve it. And I was convinced of that. It was just because I had no idea what was biotech, but I was really convinced about that. And so I quickly realized that what I was seeing in the lab was not going to happen in 3 months. To be honest, after the first 4 months with my intern, we could see bioluminescence, but it required like maybe 15 minutes in darkness, total darkness, to actually start to see the lights. But I started to develop a certain properties with my eyes that could see this light, and I realized that there was light. So, and we started to imagine how we could improve this light intensity and how we can make it stable over time. And there were so many possibilities, but we needed time, of course. So I was still meeting a lot of potential clients and prospects. And what happened is that the idea that I had in mind in terms of market and products really changed with all these meetings. So I really think that I had maybe 200 meetings during the first year, and I had nothing to sell. I was just trying to listen what clients will need, that I could try to build a product on that while I was still doing R&D to make the best light possible. And so the product and the R&D strategy evolved with what the clients would need. And it took us maybe 3 years to actually build a product that was answering what our clients would need. But we also realized quickly that, well, I was not ready to wait for 10 years in the lab and see the perfect product happening. I'm not patient. Maybe I'm not done for biotech after all, but I really needed to go out of the lab and make people see these lights that I had the chance to see every day. So after 1 year, we decided to, we had few hours of light. It was not the perfect light, but it was still here. So we decided to organize these big events, inviting all the potential prospects, all the potential investors, all the journalists that we could, to do this big launching of showing bioluminescence all over, which was a really huge challenge for my R&D team, and I really did not realize that by the time, but we did this big event. I'm pretty convinced that 6 years afterwards, maybe some people didn't even see that there was light, but we really pushed ourselves out of this lab to make progress quicker, to have learning curves that are quicker, because in the lab it's not the real life conditions. And we saw that we could do few hours of flight, so we decided to launch an offer for events. And so after the first year, we started to sell pedagogical installation for events to a lot of different companies, sometimes companies that were energy companies that could be interested in bioluminescence for the future. So we started to build our network like that. And even if the product was not ready for what we expected, we really pushed ourselves out of the lab and trying to have these commercial relationships already and onboard people with us in this adventure. So it really went like that. And we did a big pivot also, I think year 3, because we were not reaching all the expectation in terms of technical performances. So we had to, and we were also using genetically modified organisms, which was impossible in terms of regulations. I tried to change the laws for 3 years, but I never managed to do it. So we decided to switch technology, and we really did a big pivot, both technical pivot and market pivot after year 3, in order to be closer than what the market was expecting us. And since then, we're still in the R&D process. We still sell products which are not industrialized to monetize the R&D, but we haven't started yet the big deployment 7 years afterwards, but we still generate revenues, and we still do hundreds of meetings every month in order to be sure that what we develop, we not spend 10 years developing something that is not going to work outside of the lab.
Wow. And what was the team you had at this beginning? What was your team and your means? Like, how did you sustain yourself? And because you were just graduate, so you networked, maybe you didn't have a Pôle emploi.
No, we did actually, even before creating the company, we did the first entrepreneurial contest, which was organized by 3 of the biggest French entrepreneurs. It was only a 1-minute pitch, which is great because in 1 minute you can make people believe a lot of things that you are not actually doing, but you don't lie. You just have no time to say the exact truth. And so we started having this money, and then I did another contest right after these 4 months, the first months of research. It was also a 1-minute pitch in the Eiffel Tower, in the elevator, the real elevator pitch. And the price was actually investment. And I had 80,000 euros of investment, which really changes how I imagined the company. So I started hiring my first colleagues. And after that, for the first years, we did a lot of contests. So which was great. So I had actually a partner that I met at ESCP that he was doing basically all the day long applications for contests and grants. And so we managed to gather in the first year 450,000 euros, which was huge regarding the fact that we were only 3 to 4 people and we didn't spend so much money.
And all this with no equity? Like, did you have to give shares, or it was all?
No, for this 450, so there was 80,000 euros in equity, but it was actually a BSA, so it was just cash, and then it got transformed into equity 2 years after that for the first fundraising, but it was only non-dilutive money exclusively.
And currently, what are the financing of Glowee?
Still a lot of debt and grants. We are doing a lot of R&D, so that's project that you can find this kind of money. But basically, we've gathered since the beginning maybe 5.9 million euros, and on this 5.9 million euros, only 1.3 are equity, and the other part is debts and grants.
Good. And maybe a last question, and then I'll switch to Ola. When you started selling for the events, was it an idea that you had? Was it a suggestion from the people you discussed with? And how did you price it? Like the very first time you sold something for an event, what was it?
Well, the first event that we sold, I think, was for the TED conference organized, the American organization that organized a TED once in the year outside of the US, which was in Paris this year. And I was a speaker, so that was a good way to negotiate the price also of the installation. And so I had this idea when I saw we did for the launching that I was mentioning a kind of bioluminescence scenographies, and it was kind of magical. We were fascinated. We spent maybe 4 hours with the team just watching that and looking at the beauty of it while drinking glasses of wine. And we knew that it was an experience that people were gonna like. And we had a lot of people that wanted to see bioluminescence. So we really sold this kind of bioluminescence scenographies, immersive experiences, and we priced it quite high because it was very not cost efficient for us. We at the beginning, to make a production of maybe 100 of units, it took us maybe 2 to 3 weeks of production. After a year, it was only maybe 1 day to produce 700 units, but at the beginning, it was really not cost effective. So we priced it high also because we knew that we were the only one offering that, and we were not selling lights. We were selling an immersive experience, a unique experience that you cannot live elsewhere, and it worked quite well. I mean, it's still working because it's an experience that is very differentiated. And when we have, but it's also because we don't sell lights. If you say in events we're going to sell lights, if they compared your to be honest, every installation is from 5,000 euros to maybe 15,000 euros, even for one night sometimes, even if it can be more. But if you compare to just having lights and buying LEDs, like you're not going to sell anything because it's not where the value proposition is. So it's also a matter of onboarding people in the big picture. We not just sell an event experience, we sell the fact that bioluminescence is going to change the world and they're going to be part of it and know what it is. And so it's a bit of question of marketing also and storytelling a lot. And we have a project that is easy to storytell actually. So that's an advantage for us, of course.
Yeah, they invest in the future with you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ola, I have questions for you regarding, so I guess that when you started doing this logistic to Senegal, I can imagine how much it must have been complicated. I guess that some shipments were lost, broken, forbidden to go from one side to another. There was a mix, like someone received the computer of another one. So how did you manage to structure and to have it roll?
In the beginning, I was the only one in Paris, and my co-founders were in Senegal. So their job was just to handle the packages when they come and deliver the customers. I was the only one in Paris, so I was doing all the manual handling the packages and consolidate the shipments. And I was also answering customers by email and also issuing the invoices. So basically, as I was doing that, we had this big Google Sheets file that we shared between Senegal and France. And basically we ran on that Google Sheets for like 3-4 years. And we added many files basically. So one file was to follow the shipments, one other file was to follow the money, one other file was to put all our customers, our little database. So we started really simply like that, and that's how basically the structure began to appear in the business. Yeah.
And so on your side, how did you sustain yourself? Did you have some economies or some investment at that time? And what was your team?
So the thing is, I applied for RSA. You know RSA. So I basically got RSA in.
Like in English, explain maybe what is RSA in English for those who are not French.
RSI is basically, in America, I think they say welfare. Like basically, it's a minimum that the state gives you money so that you don't starve, basically. So I had money from la caisse des allocations familiales, and basically it helped me to pay my rent.
How much is it?
And I had like 700 euros, 750 euros per month, something like that. So that helped me to live the first basically 2-3 years, and then so then things began to we started to like pay ourselves like salaries basically.
How much can you tell?
The salaries in the beginning, it wasn't a lot. Basically, we were trying to get myself. It was around 800 euros.
800.
Because I knew that, huh?
800, no, just
sorry, my bad. English is not my mother tongue. Sorry.
Very good.
So basically, I was trying to have around 800 euros because I knew that if I had 800 euros added to the money that the state was giving me, I could basically move around. But yeah, that was our first salaries. But then basically, as the business went up, our salaries also went up as time went by.
And
Yeah.
so did you continue only in Senegal, or did you open at some point other African countries?
So we stayed focused in Senegal. That's another thing. People know me for that, is that I don't like doing many things at the same time. And I think focus is very, very important. And my associates, my co-founders wanted to open in Mali, open in other countries. And I was always the one saying, no, we need to stay focused in Senegal. Then it was only after we raised some funds that we decided to go in other countries. But that didn't even, I think Senegal is a very hot market, and we should have like kept the focus on Senegal.
And so today, in which country are you?
Senegal, Mali, Guinea-Conakry, and we also have a partner in Togo.
And you say that once you raise funds, you could go on new markets because the people who gave you the funds, it was to go international, or who gave you the funds?
It was a little venture capital firm based in Senegal. They gave us funds to push our growth in the Senegalese market, but as we are stubborn, and my guys really wanted to hop on the opportunities of the neighboring countries, we opened in Mali, we opened in Guinea, and we opened in Togo. So basically we used the funds. The funds were not meant to fund that, and we still did it, but we didn't spend a lot of money on it because we basically were running on partnerships. Basically, we found partners locally, and we let the partner use our brand. So our brand is called OuiCarry, and they were using our brand, using our processes, and basically managing the customers over there.
It's a bit like a franchise? No.
Yeah, you could say that, exactly.
And so today, how many people are in OuiCarry, and what is the volume of your activity?
You mean how many franchisees, or our like employees in our employees?
Yeah, in general, like franchise and employees. What is the size of the company?
So you have one franchisee in Mali, one other one in Guinea. Then the one in Togo he still uses his brand, so it doesn't use the OuiCarry brand. So basically, yeah, that's it. Then on the employee side, at the moment, as I'm speaking, we're still a small company because we're around 12. If I count myself and my co-founders, we're 12 people. We lost a lot of people. We lost basically half our team last year, basically.
Can you tell us a bit more why? Yeah.
COVID really didn't go well for us. COVID hit us hard, and yeah, basically that's COVID. Yeah.
But because people were not delivering any more stuff to each other, or?
Actually, people still needed to order some stuff, but the planes, the air traffic was really low, and there were only a few companies that were operating, which means that everybody was going to these companies and they were full, and they couldn't tell you for our air shipments when the takeoff, when our packages were going to take off. So that put us in a really complicated situation with our customers, where we couldn't tell them when basically their packages were going to come. So that was a bit complicated. Then we still had sea shipments, but the operations on the sea shipments was also complicated because, for instance, we had a partner in New York, and he was basically on lockdown. New York was on lockdown, so he couldn't access his own warehouse, and our packages were waiting in New York. In Paris, it was a bit more simple in Paris, but it was still complicated. So basically, and then on an internal side in the company, we didn't. There was basically everybody we didn't panic, but everybody was really worried, and yeah, so didn't go well basically.
Congrats to have been strong enough to continue and not close, because this is a challenge, and I think that makes you a stronger entrepreneur. What about you, Sandra? Did you have any consequences from COVID on your side, or you just had more time to do your long R&D work?
No, we had actually we sorry, it's starting to the night is coming.
Night is coming.
Yeah, actually we faced a really hard internal crisis, financial crisis in 2019, and we went just before COVID from 18 employees to 5. And we managed to raise new funds at the end of 2019, mainly to not start R&D again. We were still looking for it to finance hard R&D like that. It's more grants. Equity is kind of complicated on our side. So we decided to do a bridge funding to launch a product that we're ready on our side, which is called the Glowee Room, and it's a relaxation experience using bioluminescence for hotels and spas. So we've been working on that for the past year and a half. The market was buying it, and we signed the first contracts while we were in this big crisis. And so we were just starting to have clients again and funds again, basically in November 2019. In the same time, I delivered my first baby, so that was not the perfect timing, and I got back to work actually in February, which was the date where we were supposed to deliver the first Glowee Room and install it. And we installed it actually the 20th of February, and basically 3 weeks afterwards, the market was not existing anymore. So we were really stopped in our big, it was 1.5 years of first struggling because of our own crisis, but also developing a market that was not existing from one day to another because all the hotels were closed. And well, the well-being sector only started maybe 18 months after that. So we decided to press the button pause. I said to the lab, okay, you stay home. We had the chance in France to have a very supportive chômage partiel, so that the people could be paid even if they were not working, not by us, but by the state. So we stayed for 2 months. and we were still working on grants, big European grants, in order to be able to restart again. But we decided to stop developing the wellness sector because we had no idea where it was going to start again, and hopefully we did that. Otherwise, because we might be thinking at this time it's going to last for 2 months or 3, and it actually didn't. So we decided not to spend our money and keep our cash when the thing were starting again, in order to spend our money wisely. And so during the first lockdown, we had the news that we were in final for this big grant, which was 1.7 million. So that was really changing the game. And we started to work again in June, July, when we knew that we had this grant, and rebuild the company with really focusing on long-term products, developing products for cities. And it was the first time that we really had this cash enough to develop this kind of product. So COVID was a bit of changing of focus for us, but it also offered us a new, like we were born again, because we're starting from 5 people in the middle of the COVID crisis, and now we are 15 again. So we've managed to go through that, but it was really a change of mind. And personally, I was we stayed for maybe 5 months with no idea of what to do in terms of business. I had my team, like, we really didn't know how to do. So we decided to create a board game for children, because we had time and we had no idea what to do with that time. And we know that children loved bioluminescence, and we love to talk about it in a pedagogical way. So we created this game. We launched a crowdfunding campaign in September 2020, saying, okay, it's not going to make us rich, but at least it's something that exists. And if COVID comes again, then the board games will be great, and that people will be happy to stay home learning about bioluminescence. So yeah, it was a bit of a team project to just survive and keep a good ambience in the company, and realize that we're not here for nothing. We're just moving forward, even if it's not where we want it to be. But then we started to reborn again at the end of 2020, when the cash came in again.
Wow. I have a last question for both of you, and then I'll open the floor with questions. I see they are in the chat, and that's also for that you are here. Indeed, in the following of what you're saying, Sandra, I know that all the entrepreneurs here, they are often they have often many ideas, they want to do many things, they have many with intuition from within and opportunities from outside. How do you manage yourself, your daily life as an entrepreneur? How do you manage with all the opportunities coming either within your head or from external people, and also from your team and the people, your co-founders, your teammates? How do you drive your boats in this ocean of unknown?
Yeah, from my side, so I had the vision of going to cities since day one, and when people on board and come in the company, they know that this is what's going to happen someday to us. But in the same time, we have a lot of opportunities coming. We have also a market that is very diverse, a lighting market. We can basically do any kind of light, and so we have hundreds of opportunities that comes in every month, and we say no 99% of the time. And I don't have a magic recipe. That's very frustrating for the team, for the clients, for everyone. But this is something that I learned from my 2019 crisis. We had 4 business lines, and so we were spending a lot of money, and we were doing a lot of tailor-made projects, and nothing was happening because we were not focused enough, and we wanted to do everything, and we cannot do that when you're 5, 10, 15 people. Like, it's just not possible. But the good thing is that not to close opportunities, we still have calls every week that are really out of our scope for now, but it's quite interesting to first hear what are the people needs, and to also, even these people, try to either make them buy something that we can do, either say, okay, we're gonna do that someday, it's just now, but just don't close the doors, because there's always something that could be that could transform into something that you don't expect. But there's no magic recipe. It's frustrating, but at some point you need to make choices. And today we've made the choice to only develop and focus 100% of our resource and on this urban market, even if 40% of our incoming calls are not concerning this market at all. So we say no. That's frustrating, but yeah, we cannot do everything.
Do you have an example of a recent no you had to say that you can tell us and that was not easy?
Well, even in the urban market, we say no. So we basically say no to really 99% of the projects, but we have a lot of industrial that calls us to integrate bioluminescence into cars, into materials, into cosmetics, into even big events that we're not, we cannot do because it will require R&D resources that we cannot, if we put on that, we cannot put them otherwise. So it's really a lot of things that we have to say no to. If we're even sometimes with a very well-known and recognized international artists that say, okay, we want to do a bioluminescence installation in the entrance of the MoMA in New York, and you're like, that's great, but I just cannot. Or a big resort in Mauritius that wants to put bioluminescence everywhere, but like we're not ready to go to Mauritius yet. So there's really a lot of projects, and it's so frustrating for everyone. But our job is also to manage frustration, and I've been doing that for the first day, because even when I just did some Photoshop and PowerPoint slides, people already saw that we could buy bioluminescence even in the supermarket, and so I have to manage this expectation, and going out of the lab, having commercial relationships, showing people what you do is also a way to manage this frustration.
Well, we're lucky that you say yes for tonight then.
It was not impossible. So when it's not impossible, I say yes.
Thank you. Ola, can you share with us how do you manage? If you're still here, because I don't.
Sorry, how do I manage? Because I was cut. I lost I didn't hear everything Sandra said. I heard the beginning and the end. So
no worries. I will. Yeah, I will let you know that you're in Cotonou, right? That's far.
Exactly.
My question is like, yeah. Entrepreneurs, they have many ideas and opportunities. It's very easy not to keep the focus and to follow your path. So how in your daily life, how do you manage personally and with your founders and your team to just go forward and not be lost in the middle of every possible?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's all about the vision, basically. And the vision should be shared between yourself, your co-founders, and as long as the vision is clear, everybody knows when to say yes and when to say no. And I have a little story about that. Something that happened to us, it was in 2018, basically. We started to have contacts in with like the direction of Amazon France. It was my co-founder met actually the CEO of Amazon France, and he put us in contact with his team, and we were working on a project together for Senegal. And at that point in time, we were between the logistic activity, like classic logistics activity, which was basically leading us to be the next, let's say, DHL, or we could go the route of e-commerce and become this big, use our logistics to become this big e-commerce website in Senegal with Amazon France backing us and all this stuff. And so we worked basically on this project for a few months. We spent some money on it, spent a lot of time. And in the end, we realized that we were losing focus basically because we thought that the opportunity of e-commerce, we should like hop on this opportunity. And we even thought that we could do both, still do shipping and do our big like website, e-commerce website. But the truth is you can't do both. And what brought us like with talking to Amazon, and what brought all our growth was the shipping business, basically. So we were in the shipping business, and we were supposed to stay focused on the shipping business. So when the e-commerce opportunity came to us, if our vision was more clear, we should have said no. We should have said no, because that's not our vision. And So yeah, that's the mistake we made. And I think I really like what Sandra said. I believe a good entrepreneur is supposed to say no a lot more often than he says yes. So it's basically your ability to say no, to stay true to your vision, and that brings you to the end goal.
Thanks a lot. We have question in the chat. I don't know if you had the chance to look. One of the questions is a bit on this continuity about the co-founders. There's this question about how do you manage your relationship with your co-founder? Have the relations always been good? And if not, how do you manage the situation? Sandra, do you have some tips?
Yeah, well, I have no tips. I have a complicated story. But the listen, so I started with co-founder, then he left, and then I had another partner, and then he left, but 4 years afterwards, which is completely different in a few months after the launch. But the lesson I have from that is, so today I'm basically alone. I have a management team, but I'm the only founder who's working. And the lesson I can go from that is that at the beginning, I was really looking for co-founders because we started as a student project. We were 4, but 2 of the students quickly said, we are not going to pursue the company, even if they want teachers. And we had lawyers even before the company was created, but that's another long story. And then I was not feeling that I could do that by myself. I didn't want to do it by myself. So I was looking for a co-founder. Which I created the company then with someone that basically left a few weeks after the launch. So it was not really interesting. And so I then basically started by hiring a friend of mine who then became my associate, and I gave shares to him, but then with the contract that was saying that I could take back the shares if necessary, with no reason at any time, which was necessary. But and for all these years, then when he left, I was really feeling by myself again, and was very sad because he's one of my best friends still, and it was just a reason why he left. It was not about us not getting along, but the reason that I can take from that is that you can do it alone. You should trust yourself. You should trust your intuition. You should not just look for someone. If you can do that alone, and then you will hire people that will be your partners and your today I have amazing colleagues that are here for me, that they're just management team. It's not co-founders but yeah, from the point I was like, okay, I can do this by my own, everything changed, and I had so much less problems dealing with that. So of course the perfect solution is to have co-founders that are complementary and have complementary skills and get along together. But if you don't have this chance, don't just look for it for months and months. Just start by yourself, and you will see what the future, what's going to happen in the future. If you found the perfect person, then great. And if this person lived after 3 or 4 years, it's okay too. And so there is no rules. You can do this by your own, even if it's not the preferred profiles for the investors and everything, but it's your story. So just do it, and you will see what the future is giving.
And maybe adding on this before having the Ola version, there is another question: is what is the best advice you can give to go through hard times, like COVID or pivot phase? And I would add what it is to be an entrepreneur and a mother.
Yeah, so I think the only thing that works is it's passion, and the fact that you're convinced by your business. And this is not about your own conviction and just being stubborn. It's about the fact that people give you feedback on what you do, and that they're trusting you. And so for me, I had a lot of visibility and communication, which was not really, I didn't really choose that, but this brought me a lot of feedbacks and people that were basically trusting in us. And knowing that people want this to happen just as I want it to happen is really the thing that makes me say in difficult times, okay, I cannot not pursue. Like if I manage to do that, that's so cool that I cannot just stop. So it's really a matter of passion and having people around you that supports what you do, and that you're not alone in your craziness. And being an entrepreneur and a mother, well, I think It's just something that you should be not be worried about. It's hard, but it's hard like being a mother and having a job, a regular job. It's a matter of handling your personal and professional life. From the year one, I had a coach. I was not a mother yet, but I had a coach, and the goal was to be able to take holidays and let my colleagues just work when I'm not here, and be able to accept that my company is not going to die if I'm out for 24 hours. And you can trust that your company is not going to die if you don't work for a week. So when you accept that, then you accept to, when you go back home, just stop. And if something changed while being a mother is that, so I learned that I was pregnant the day before. I convoked my teams to say, today we are 18 people, and in 5 months we're going to be 5 people because things are going bad. And it really changed my spirit. Before being a mother, I was like, okay, Glowee is basically my entire life, and if I don't have Glowee anymore, then I'm going to die, or I don't know what's going to happen. And knowing that I had a child coming, it was very interesting in terms of how I managed to be less stressed and say, okay, I'm going to give everything so that it works. But if it doesn't work anymore, then life keeps going, and that's okay. And that's always something that I say to my teams when they are so stressed and that we know that they're going to like be bad. I'm like, nobody's going to die. So just relax. If the company have a problem, then it's okay. Your family is okay. You're in good health. So don't worry. Like we're going to get over that. And I think being a mother helps a lot in that to relativize. No, relativize doesn't mean anything in English. Well, it works in French. To just look at what's important and what's urgent in a different way. I give everything that I have for Glowee, but if Glowee dies one day, that's okay. Like it's a company. We're gonna survive all of that.
Thanks a lot. Ola, what about you?
Yes.
Co-founder stories and
Co-founder stories.
difficult time and be a father.
Yeah, father. Yeah, basically, I agree. I agree with Sandra. I would like to add that when you're going through hard times, you just need to remember why you started, and if your why is strong enough, you'll go through a hard time. So basically, yeah, just know why you're doing what you do. And then on the co-founder stories, my story is like basically I started with 2 co-founders. We're still together to this day, and it has been a roller coaster. It has been really great times and really difficult times. I've been through everything, and I agree. Once again, I agree with Sandra, saying that if you're alone, just go alone and don't necessarily think you need co-founders. Me, basically, I was in France. I was doing shipping between France and Senegal. That's how we started. So we needed each other basically because they were in Senegal, I was in France, and that's how we started. That's how we did business. And then as time went by, I spent more and more time in Senegal with the teams, and I settled in Senegal in 2017, basically. So, what my advice, what has brought the good times is that basically we're friends, we know each other. My 2 co-founders are childhood friends, and so we shared a lot of personal, not only professional but personal times, like the birth of our children, the weddings, blah blah blah. So basically that's the good times, but the hard times is basically when the communication disappears, and when you guys, there's certain conversations that you guys don't manage to have anymore. So when the communication is being more and more difficult, my advice would be to find a mentor or the investor or a coach, whatever, who's gonna put you in a room and force everyone to speak until the problem is like, even if the problem is not solved, the problem needs to be clearly said, like, by everyone, And sometimes, yeah, that's what like created problems. And the last thing I want to say is that it's really, really important to be to decide on who has the last words. Like, you know, in a boat, there's only one captain. And me and my co-founders, sometimes we had like this crisis because basically we had this idea in the beginning that we're three, so it's always 2 against 1. So the majority wins. That doesn't work. Never do that. You have, even if you're like 3, even if it's 2 against 1, if the one is the CEO, if the one is the one that you decided that he masters the vision better than the others, and he's the one that deserves to have the last word, you should let him have the last word. That's really, really important. That's basically also what created problems with my co-founders. Yeah.
And being a father?
Father is good, eh? Father is I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, I believe but it's not only in entrepreneurship, but I think that it's really important to have, when you're a father, you're looking for a good mother for your kids. And I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed to have a wonderful mother for my children. So that's what I can say. And I've been able to enjoy my fatherhood and spend time with my kids. But when I have to do extra work, when I have to be not in the, I don't know, not be in the household because I have to work, have someone that understands and have someone that is there to support.
Thanks a lot, Ola. I'm checking in the comments and I see many questions, and I think I can put myself in the feet of the participant, and maybe you would have an answer for them. I will try to make it broad, getting all the comments together. So in the room, we have participants. They are all at the very beginning of the adventure. Some of them, they even don't have an idea, but they just have the fire of entrepreneurship within their belly, and they're like, okay, I know I will like to create something. Some others, they have several ideas, they don't know which one to choose, and others, they have an idea that they already started, but most of their question is where to start. And you know, they listen all these podcasts, see the videos, they have entrepreneurship class where people are saying, okay, you need to do a business plan, you need to do a pitch deck, you need to do your business model Canva and the design thinking process, and etc. And at some point, it's a bit confusing to know how do you concretely start. So maybe you remember yourself at the very beginning, or you have some elements for them about what do you do at the beginning that is not kind of the checklist everybody tells you to do.
Well, I think all the experiences, entrepreneurial adventures are very different. And I will say, just do it, no matter what you do, but just do it. Do something that makes you move forward. But there's something that I've done with not really thinking about it because I was kind of forced to, but it's talking about your ideas to as many people as you can. Either it's your own personal network, or it's in contest, or it's in everyone that will bring something to your business. So you're not gonna, even if you're several co-founders, you're not gonna build that alone. And so get feedbacks. It's both a way to build your own business and know where to start, but it's also a way to find users. It's a way to fine-tune your idea and everything that you do. So I will say that communicate as much as you can on your projects, because it will also give you the fuel to just get engaged on this product to everyone. And well, I think there's not one thing to start. You of course have to build a product, you have to find clients, but you can do that in the same times. You have to identify it also quite quickly if you need funds, or you can do it by yourself. It's not an obligation at all to raise funds. You can self-fund your company for a lot of years and being perfectly okay with that. And if you can do that, just do that, because it's the best solution to move forward for sure. So no matter what you do, just do it. Talk about your project. Don't think that people are going to steal your project. Like, nobody cares. An idea is just an idea, and what's going to count is the way you do things and execute things. So just be aware of all the opportunities, talk to people, and you will find a way to start everything. And it's not very interesting, but well, it's not really an advice, but just do things. No matter what you do, just do it.
There's this last question coming, and I know everybody has this in mind. It's, when do you think is the right time to search for investments? And I'm also thinking about this study that we did with La Boussole about the fact that there is a too important emphasis put on fundraising. So what do you say around this?
Well, the good moment is when you really need money. If you think that you can bootstrap, and as soon as you can bootstrap, just do it, because you're not going to raise funds if you don't have any KPIs or anything that will make investor invest. So the first thing is to bootstrap as much as you can to show that you are capable of doing something and move forward. You're gonna go find investment if it's your first company just on an idea and a business plan. Actually, you need to show that you move forward. And so and then it's two different strategies: to decide to raise fund and invest in something, or just to decide to generate revenues with the product that you're creating. So the good moment is when you're absolutely sure that you need this money and that you cannot do and get to your vision if you don't need this money. But don't go look for funds just because you need to fundraise that. You're not going to manage to do it first, and it's not going to bring anything to your business. As soon as you can bootstrap, just bootstrap, and find non-dilutive funds and do crowdfundings and do anything that can help your business. But the VC world, the investment world, is a complicated world, and you cannot have VCs on board if you just have a piece of paper. If it's your first company, if it's not your first company, it can happen.
That's super true. Ola.
Yeah, on the raising funds, I believe there is a French entrepreneur. Maeva, I'm sure you know him. Is Raphaël Dana. Alexandre Dana, my bad. Yeah, I think they started this community, like bootstrapping community, and like startups that do amazing things without raising funds. I just saw that on the internet. I think it's really interesting because I believe we need to break this. I see some entrepreneurs that believe that if you haven't raised funds, basically you failed. I believe that's not true. I believe some businesses need fundraising, of course. I believe Sandra is one of them. But you see sometimes great companies that generate millions of euros of revenue and that are sustainable and that basically didn't raise funds. It is possible, basically. So I believe that the investor is like a man looking for a nice wife to marry, and the startup is basically the woman that she's supposed to be nice, have all these nice KPIs that brings the investor to her, and it shouldn't be the other way around. Basically, I think that if you build your brand, if you're doing growth on your own, you have nice KPIs, you're visible, and you just people talk about you. Basically, the investors come looking for you. And I know someone like that. He has basically what I believe is the best Senegalese startup at the moment. It's a fintech startup, and I'm telling you guys, the guys are looking for him because he's like, for instance, no, I'm not supposed to say no names, but I know like funds, Serie A funds who invest like 2 million euros, 3 million euros. They are looking for him, but he's doing his thing. He didn't raise funds, and he's growing, like he's really growing fast. So yeah, that's my take on the fundraising. A bit idealistic, you would say, but that's what I feel.
And maybe to conclude, can you tell us a bit about your YouTube channel where you sing songs for entrepreneurs?
The what?
Yeah,
sorry?
I have this.
Yeah, sorry.
Ola, he has
I
a
have
YouTube
this,
channel where he does slam for entrepreneurs.
yeah, basically I have this passion for entertainment, but for music more specifically. So at sometimes I do some songs about our story, and I basically slam and rap and sing, or try to sing about startup issues, about raising funds, about finding customers, about paying suppliers and stuff like that. So yeah, you guys can check it out on YouTube. The YouTube is Ola l'entrepreneur. And I also do some little short videos on TikTok about entrepreneurship, just to like share like the experience, just in a like entertaining way.
Nice. I think we're arriving at the end of the discussion. Maybe to conclude, any actualities that we should know, news about your next move or thing we can do for Glowee or OuiCarry that can help you? Like, we are many from everywhere in the world. You have some people from Senegal, Hong Kong, France, Madrid, Italy, and etc. Anything for you guys?
Talking about fundraising, we're going to launch a new equity crowdfunding campaign in the next few weeks. So you can be an investor from 100 euros.
Nice.
So maybe it's not you, but just talk about bioluminescence, talk about Glowee, and if you have people interested into becoming investors from 1,000 euros, that could be an opportunity. And as long as you're an ambassador and you're interested in what we do and that you want to see bioluminescence in the cities, just talk about it.
What is the platform?
It's going to be WeSeed.
WeSeed. Okay, we're going to share it with...
It's an exclusivity nobody knows yet.
Nice. We're going to hush. Thank you very much, Sandra.
Yeah, great, Sandra. Great. Oh, nice. Yeah, for me, I believe I just want to push everybody to just keep pushing, keep looking for opportunities, and build your business. And that's all I basically have to say. I would say that at the time when I was in the SCP, you didn't have as many opportunities to get information or education on entrepreneurship. And I believe now is really, there's like almost too many, but it's like you have ESCP who's still here, but you have many like books are coming out, and like other like ways to, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, I'm a big fan of Oussama Ammar. And so I believe that if you guys keep like your head, if you keep focused and you keep following the right people, you basically get at where you want to go, and learn really interesting stuff, basically.
Thank you, Ola. Merci beaucoup. I think there is a Marine asking another time the same question, so it will be the last question for Sandra. I think there is a question of expertise there. So it's around, how did you get the idea to start bioluminescence, and weren't you afraid to start without ever having studied biology or chemistry?
Well, how did I get the idea? It was really simple in this student contest. The theme was biology. We saw these deep ocean creatures producing life, and we're like, okay, that's so cool. Maybe with the technology that we have, we can do the same and save the world. So that was a very simple and naive vision. But it was also an evidence, so a self-evident thing. So I just started like that, and then, as I mentioned, I got on medias, and people were coming and wanted to buy, and so I was like, okay, there's really something happening, so let's try. And if I was not afraid, no, because I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea that biotech was so hard. I had no idea that entrepreneurship was so hard. I was naive, and I think it's a strength. because when you don't know things, then you're not afraid of going after challenges. And in terms of legitimacy, of course, it was a big deal, and it's still a big deal, even 7 years afterwards. The big deal is to gain credibility. And as we did a lot of contests, it helps us a lot. I got a recognition from the MIT, and then from Forbes, and then from 20 other innovation prizes, and that really helped. But I'm still facing people, especially in the scientific world, that says to me like, oh, what are you doing in the scientific conference? You're not a scientist. So credibility just needs time. I know that for investors, for example, I had no credibility at the beginning, which was okay. Like I had no credibility, so that was the truth. And then when you just are resilient, and 5 years, 6 years, 7 years afterwards, you're still here, it's just like they trust you because you've fought, and well, it's just a matter of time. And I was not afraid because I always got people that were experts around me. So I found them, and I'm not the biotech expert, but I have a lot of other different skills that makes me an entrepreneur that managed to handle a biotech company. But even with my employees, sometimes it's hard. I'm managing people that are from Polytechnique in France that have PhDs, 25 years experience. And I'm like, hello, I'm a 30-year-old designer. And sometimes they're afraid, and sometimes it's complicated even for them. But well, I know what I'm doing. And I have proof that it has been working a bit, at least. And that's also why people trust me now and think that I'm maybe trustful.
Thanks a lot. Wonderful. Well, time is running, and we really want to have time for these subgroups, and we are really lucky to have Ola, thank you, that can stay with us and will be with the subgroup, and Sandra has to leave us, but it was a super nice discussion, and I hope that everyone learned as much as I do, even though I knew you already, but it's always super inspiring. So I would, we can try a clap, like, we can clap without mic. I don't know if it works, but it's always very frustrating that we cannot, like, you know, share with you how much we are happy to have you with us. But thank you very much, and good luck for the rest. And we will share this crowdfunding campaign. And Ola, we will follow your TikTok that I already follow every day, and it's really so nice to have
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for this first moment. We will let you know about the co-development. How does it work? Maybe we can, I don't know, Agnieszka, if you can share the presentation, because I don't have the link right now, or Manuela. Yes, thank you for being with us. And of course, you know the rest of the team. So Manuela, Agnieszka, Ayush, and Abigail that you already all met during the last session that thanks to be here with us also, and you will meet them. So maybe just to let you know, before we do a very quick break, during the one you will be split in different subgroups. The co-development, so what will happen in the coming hour, what we would like you to discover, it's a co-development workshop. Maybe some of you already experimented that, or maybe not. The idea is that when you have several minds together around the question, you can help the one that has the question to clarify his idea and have new hypotheses and new solutions. So what we will ask you to do after the break, you will be in subgroups with 5 to 6 projects. We will first do a round where everyone will quickly present who he or she is, the project on which you are working, and the main question that you have today. So it's super important that you only focus on your very, very current question. So it can be, it depends, shall I found a co-founder or not? Why can't I convince someone to buy my super product because every time I do a call, nobody wants to buy it? Shall I find fundings, or shall I create a very low-tech MVP? I don't know what MVP I can create because I don't understand how I can prototype, whatever, but a very, very current question. And so everybody will present himself and present the project and the question. And after that, we will be able only to work on 2 questions, so from 2 different projects. but that's okay because you will see that you will learn a lot from working on the project of someone else. And also, of course, the idea of this workshop is that you can do it again later, anytime you want. Just to let you know, it's a super express version. Normally, in the classic co-development session, it's 3 hours, but it's a lot. So we do an express one. Then we do the roundtable where everybody presents himself and the question. And then we choose 2 questions that will be solved. So imagine I am picked as a project and my question is an easy one to work with the other. So I will have 5 minutes to explain what is my question. Then the other one, during 10 minutes, they will be able to ask me questions to make sure that they understand what is my wonder. So it's not about giving solution, it's about diving into my question to make sure it's clear. So for instance, if I say, okay, I cannot sell, I don't understand. Every time I pitch my project, nobody wants to buy it. Then people will ask me questions about how do I do my calls and try to understand what is my problem. After that, when it's clear, when the question is very clear, I cannot speak anymore. I have to close my mouth. And the other one, they can share ideas and share suggestions, experience, proposals, and etc. And I cannot answer. So if they are suggesting stuff that I already thought about or tried, I just don't speak, and I just want to listen to their own proposals. And after that moment, I can react at the end and say, okay, among everything you've said, some things I already thought about, but listening to you, I am more convinced about trying this, and this new idea, I think I will try it. And it's all about the now moment.